everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Uche. So quickly, there's something I just want to say. Is as long as I'm concerned now, it's highly almost impossible for anybody, especially if you're an African, or if you have a Facebook app that you go through once in a while, or YouTube or Instagram, at least the ones that I know. There's no way you will say that one way or the other you've not heard of the demise of MOBAD. It's a very terrible situation. Before this guy, when he was alive, I didn't know him. And I think that's the case for a lot of people, except maybe if you're in entertainment. Even I heard some people in entertainment industry that said they didn't know him. When he was alive, I didn't know him. I didn't know anything about him. I have not heard his music. I zero knowledge of who he was until he left. And people started hearing him. It's almost impossible for anybody to say that he has not heard, or the circumstances surrounding the demise of this young man. It's really unfortunate and disheartening that this happened to him. But in all this, I just picked few things from the story of this guy. When I was watching this thing, and I saw the caliber of people fighting for him, from the young to the middle class to the old, talking about him, some men of God talking about him, I said to myself, whatever you do, do not die. Do not die. It may be, I just feel like if this boy was alive, his name Imole, which signifies light, maybe if he was alive and he didn't go the route that he went to, probably it would have taken a time, but I think he would have still be seen. He would have still be seen. I have that feeling, because when I started seeing now that he has left, I started listening to the roots of some of his songs. I feel like this guy would have made it. It's just a matter of time. And I got to tell myself, whatever you do, don't die. If you know you have something in you that you feel you have for your generation, whether it's teaching, whether it's song, whatever it is. And I know that God did not, there's something for everybody inside for his generation. It depends on how when you discover it and how you go about it. Putting diligence and hard work. It might take a time. It might take time. By the grace of God, you'll get there. I feel like if the boy had patience a little while, he would have made it in life eventually. Another thing, when I saw the sight of when he was laid in that short coffin, I said to myself, this life. I've said it before. I keep learning in every situation. Even the Bible said that it's good to go to where they are mourning instead of where they are feasting. When I saw that boy laid there, I said to myself, this life. If that boy was alive, can somebody put him, bend his neck like that? This life, all these things we have too much quest for, they will end here. They will end here. All these people that will do unbelievable things just to be famous, or just to be rich, or just to make this thing called wealth. Then at the end of the day, the moment you close your eyes, there's nothing happening on this earth that you can do. Even if there's a way he was seeing himself. But the fact that once you die, boom, it's over. And that reminds me, few months ago, Pastor Odukoye died. And I was just watching them carry him in his coffin, and he was moving. What I asked myself was, this ministry that he has groomed, his son took over. Assuming his plan was his son to take over, and the boy decides that he doesn't want to take over, and eventually somebody else took over, and maybe destroys all that he has built in years, what would he have done? Like, as they are carrying him there. Are you getting the picture? Then you find out at the end of the day that vanity upon vanity. Let the life we live count. Let it count. Let the life that we live count. At this phase, maybe MOBAD has gone. You can see that the energy that people were using that time, justice for MOBAD, is coming down. You see? It's gradually getting down. Let another gist come up now. People will forget about MOBAD. The least people that can remember, even his family, the wife, the mother, the father, they will remember him. But their life will not stop. Their life will go on. But everything depends on you. What you make out of your life. Eventually, what will speak for you is what you do while you are alive. That the only chance we humans have is this breath that we have in our nostrils. The moment you have that breath, make the most of it. Because, you see, that's 6 feet. Everybody's going down there. But what matters most is what you make out of your life. What will you be remembered for? What will you be remembered for? I remember some time ago when there was somebody in our church that left the church. He relocated to another. But anytime there is an activity in the church, personally me, I remember him. Because there is nothing that we do that he doesn't put his best into it. Anytime that thing comes, me personally, I will say, if this person was around, he would have done this thing. If he was around, that vacuum that he feels, that is the way it is. This life is like, who sang that song? That this world is not my own. I'm just passing through. That is, sometimes we'll jolly, we'll dance, we'll play, but I think once in a while, if things like this happens, we sit and ask ourselves, what will your husband miss when you're no more? What will your children, what is that glue, that impact? That is what it is. That your children will live by. That will say that I am useful today because of this that my mother has done. What is that, the people that you come in contact with? What is that badge that you place on them? That when you are no more, they will always remember that when this person was alive. You might think you're young. You're living the life. What will that, the place you walk, what is that mark that you left in the lives of people? In your church, if you're a Christian, what is that thing? There are people that will not come to church for 2 months. You just see them on the road or somewhere and say, it's been a while. It's like I've not been seeing this person. But there are people that one day they don't come to church. Everybody will notice. That is impact. There are people that when they don't come around, people are happy. That is a badge as well. So when people die, the death of this boy has got me thinking. Look at the huge celebrity that remembered this boy. If only, like when you have your life, make the most out of it. You don't have another life. Life one, part one. Sometimes I see people, even when they go to hospital, doctors will tell them that your kidney, your liver, they still continue to do it as if they have part 2 to live a life. This life once. Sometimes we pull ourselves back to think, what mark have I left in my generation? You will be forgotten, but that mark can never be erased. Some people that have left in my life, people close to me, that each time I remember them, at least 5 minutes, I will sober, I will think, I will reflect. Somebody like my mother. When I got home, I said to myself, God help me to be all these things that He is. You know, sometimes when people are alive, you won't really notice until they leave. When I went home for her burial, I was like, God, give me the grace to get and pass the level at this woman at 60 something. If you see, to make me a better mom, she was a not because she's my mother. She was somebody that if anybody lose hope on you, she's the last person that will lose hope on somebody. People that are not her children. When I got home, because I went to secondary school, secondary to university, youth service, I got married. So by the time I got back, her spiritual life has gone through. And I said to myself, how I wish I got to meet her one more time to ask her the secret of the level she has gone to spiritually. People speak about her. It's not even because there's this saying that there's a woman of God that said, if your Christianity does not work in your environment, there's no need of exporting it. During my mother's burial, I saw people that are genuinely crying. Some people say that they will miss her even more than they miss their own parents. That is impact. That is impact. I'm not saying this because she's my mother. I've seen people as well that their absence got people depressed. Their absence made people lose hope. That is the life we should be aiming for. The most annoying part of this MOBAD thing is people chasing clouds, trying to make money from it instead of learning from it. I see people constantly say, he came to me in the dream, and they are talking to him. Why? Yeah, but this money we are trying to make out of a dead man, what do you want to do with that kind of money? He saw you, he did this. Hombre, how they like that? Let us learn from situations. Learn from it to better your own life, rather than to just make a fool of that yourself, or make the fool of make mockery of the dead. It's not fair. I hope you got one or two things from this video, and I pray God will give us the grace to constantly, think back, even when we are carried away with the fantasies of life and maybe the comfort of this life. Let God give us the grace to constantly think back and remember that everything does not end here. That we'll have another place that we'll have to go. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.